So I have about 70K on YouTube. I have almost 300 on Instagram, 70 on TikTok. YouTube doesn't pay all that much, just being 100 transparent. For the most part, YouTube's pretty nice. TikTok's brutal. I've been on YouTube for almost 6 years. I've uploaded like 600 plus videos. Most of my income comes from Like to Know It, which is an affiliate-based company.
If you were to talk to someone who is just getting into content, what would be the 3 biggest tips? Here's how you can succeed.
Transparency, consistency, just being authentic, just being yourself, just showing up. Whether that's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform you're using, people just want to be able to connect. Relatability is what is doing really well on my Instagram channel. Obviously, people come there for the styling and the inspiration, whatnot, but I have a series on my Instagram. People love series. They love something to look forward to or something that they know that they can count on every single week. Being within this content creation, it's all about integrity and being transparent and having your consumers trust. That's how I've built my platforms.
Hannah, you started creating content over 5 years ago?
Correct.
And now you have over 400,000 followers?
Between different platforms. So I have about 70K on YouTube. I have almost 300 on Instagram, 70 on TikTok. So it's kind of spread throughout, yeah.
And you come from like design background, corporate?
So I don't actually.
Oh.
So I've always been a super creative person. I've done creative, aspects from art to party planning. I used to do wedding planning. And then once COVID hit and we were all stuck in our homes, I really got into designing my space. Obviously, we're stuck in our houses. So I got really into creating a beautiful home. And I'd always wanted to create a YouTube channel. And that was when I picked up the camera and just started filming, documenting DIY projects and styling. So that's kind of how I got into home decor.
Why YouTube?
I don't know. I can't answer. I don't know. That's a great question. I'd always seen all these people doing YouTube channels. And honestly, I've almost eliminated watching TV in my home. I only watch YouTube videos now. And it was on home. It was on makeup. And I really loved everything about YouTube. And so I just decided to create a channel. And I just took the leap of faith. There's never a good time to start a channel. That's always one of the biggest questions is like, how do you get started? You just have to do it. So I did. And it's been going ever since.
Did you kind of plan to build what you were going to build back when you started it?
No, it was... So when I first started my channel, I was doing vlogs. I was doing day in my life. I had my kids in my channel. I was doing all sorts of things because I didn't realize that you had to niche down. I taught myself everything from the editing to the thumbnails to the descriptions. All of that I taught myself. So I didn't realize you kind of, when you're in YouTube, you have to really niche down. Because I feel like sometimes when you're trying to offer too much, people don't know what to expect when it comes to your channel. So it was kind of a learning curve for a while to figure out like what's doing well and what's not. And then I started getting traction on more of the home and decorating. And so that's when I started to eliminate the vlogs and the day in my life and that type of thing and really hone in on just one category.
I don't know if you've like kind of thought through the different like buckets that you have with like your content from outside looking in. There's like the shop with me, decorate with me, kind of like the branded hauls, seasonal stuff that you do. Like how has that content evolved from the beginning of the design and decor and everything to like today and kind of what you've seen work for your content? Because you also do a mix, like some are like talking head videos and then some are a little more vloggy style.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I notice as far as like for my channel goes, a lot of people enjoy like the shop with me experiences where some people don't go shopping as frequently, you know what I mean? So they love to see through my eyes what is in stores and whatnot. I see those tend to be really successful on my channel. A lot of people enjoy the styling videos where it's like I'm giving them ideas on how to style something, giving them, a certain surface like a coffee table and giving them multiple different looks to let them be able to recreate it in their own way in their own home. So that's where I see it doing the best. Okay.
And kind of looking back, looking at like your old videos, kind of like the old thumbnails and everything.
Yes. That's cringy.
What's kind of like the biggest lessons? Because you can see the difference of like the evolution of the thumbnails and everything.
Yep.
So
it was all kind of just trial and error, to be honest, like seeing what works, what doesn't work. I used to have a lot of myself in my thumbnails. I've since removed that. simpler fonts. So it really is a trial and error when it comes to YouTube, because there's so many videos out there on what to do and what to not to do, but it really comes down to just seeing what works with your audience. And yeah.
Who do you like? Did you learn from someone, or do you follow any sort of people for like?
I mean, I follow a few other home accounts, but not too many. I didn't really learn specifically from a certain person. If I had to, how to edit something, I would do like editing videos, like how to on YouTube to be able to teach myself. But it really came down to like finding like my own style and sticking with that and try not to replicate other people's, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you got to stand out in some way on YouTube,
Yeah. And what was interesting for me is like everybody talks about you have to have your face in the thumbnail because it catches their attention, and like you moved away from that.
Correct.
Like, how come?
I wanted a different aesthetic for my channel, and I felt like it seemed a little juvenile, I guess. Like, at least how I was creating them, I wanted something that was a little bit more cleaner of an aesthetic, and kind of giving people a better idea of like what to anticipate in a video, whether it was like a style with me and it would have, different photos of the styles that they could anticipate in my video. So that's kind of why I steer clear of that, even though I feel like looking back, I'm one of the only creators in this home decor like niche on YouTube that has red hair. So people could always kind of point me out from some of the other creators, which, would have been a nice reason to keep my thumbnail, because people know, oh, it's the girl with the red hair, click on it type of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. It seems like you got pretty intentional with like your brand, your niche. Mm-hmm. Like, what would you say that is for you?
Well, I definitely found my style over time. If you are to go back to like some of my original videos, my style has changed and evolved, which I feel like we all evolve even in everyday life. So it has evolved into what it is today through, I used to work for Restoration Hardware, so I learned a lot about design in that time working for them and really refining my style. And I think for, YouTube, everybody has a different aesthetic when it comes to their home. Some people like modern, some like contemporary. So being able to have, rustic luxury, people know what to anticipate when they come to my channel. It's people that enjoy the same type of style as me. Someone that's super into either contemporary or modern probably aren't going to be interested in my style. So I definitely think when it comes to YouTube, having a refined style that is present is beneficial for people to know what to anticipate when it comes to a channel.
Yeah. The reason I bring that up is because when, like, if you look at like an agent, for example, mm-hmm. a lot of them are like, oh, I don't want to just say I want to work in this area mm-hmm. of like San Diego, or like someone else who's like a builder says, I don't want to just do like modern construction or like any type of industry. A lot of people think I don't want to put that on just this because I don't want to shoo away everybody else. And like design is huge. There's a lot of different design like styles.
Absolutely. And within design, you can intertwine those. You don't have to fit under a specific umbrella. You can have multiple styles and kind of get more of a curated look, which, relaying back to the whole real estate thing, to only have, you're only serving a certain area, it really eliminates so many potential customers, for future. So definitely having, I would say, more of a broad horizon of people and whatnot.
You and I were talking a little bit earlier. You're actually moving a little bit away from YouTube and more into Instagram as a focus.
Yeah.
Like what?
Why?
Yeah, why?
There's a lot of reasons why. I've been on YouTube for almost 6 years. I've uploaded like 600 plus videos. And I feel that people don't have the attention span anymore to watching long form content.
Interesting.
Looking at analytics, people will sit on one of my videos for like 2 minutes and 30 seconds before they drop off. Seeing the analytics pick with TikTok and Instagram and like the short form content, people just don't have the attention span to sit through a 10 to 15 minute video is what I'm seeing. What I'm also seeing from a demographic standpoint, the people who are watching YouTube are older. So it's our moms and dads and that type of people that are wanting to watch long form content that can sit through an entire video. But that's kind of why I'm steering away from YouTube. It's a lot of work. between editing, videos, thumbnails, all the things that go into it, and not having as big of a payout, big of a, I could do more, meaning I could monetize more. I could do more paid collabs, which I don't. There is a lot of money that could be made there. I'm not putting my full potential in YouTube. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like that it's ran its course in a way. I'm kind of losing my drive in YouTube.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Like, I feel like it's ran its course almost. Like, I put these goals of like wanting to reach 100K, and I'm sitting at 70, which is still a great number, but to not see the payoff, to not see it growing as quickly as some of my other platforms kind of discourages me from wanting to create content and making me look other places on how can I, where else can I generate an income from, if that makes sense.
Creating content and like the mindset, like just being like, I have to keep putting out content. I have to keep doing, that's a lot. Like,
it is.
How do you?
And you get burnt out for sure. And then, it's like, okay, what haven't I done? Having to go to the drawing board and putting together ideas and trying to make it fun and new and exciting. And the same thing goes for Instagram and TikTok, but you're not putting in, a full day's work between filming, editing for YouTube as you were TikTok or Instagram, because you're doing a 20-second reel that can take, 30 minutes to do. So there definitely is a burnout there. That's definitely what I'm feeling when it comes to the YouTube side of things.
You said 6 years now. How are you managing that, like, burnout? Just switching platforms is kind of like a good way, or
switching platforms and trying to figure out. I get questions all the time about, like, do you offer design help? Like, do you offer online? Like, I need help designing a space. So now that's kind of like opening my eyes to maybe offering more one-on-one help for people and having that type of avenue. Actually Connor recommended a platform called School. I don't know. Where it's like a subscription. It's a community where I can kind of have the same general idea of YouTube and maybe having videos, but having it more dialed in for people, one-on-one type things, and it being more subscription based. So I'm definitely having ideas of how I can venture out.
So talking about that, like, really quickly, when you look at the, for example, like the pie of where you're making your money between all the different pieces, what does that look like? What are those pieces?
Okay.
And then just out of curiosity, like, are you still doing everything? Or do you have like any type of people helping you?
So looking at the pie as far as financials come from, so YouTube doesn't pay all that much. Just being 100 transparent, unless you're Mr. Beast and have 30 million plus, and there's a lot of money to be made there. For the pie, it's about 25% of my income is YouTube. Like I said before, like earlier, could I be making more money putting on, sponsored content and bringing on brands? Absolutely. But I also have a sense of integrity. I don't want to just sell someone something just to sell it. So I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? Specific about who I'm collabing with.
Yeah.
Instagram. So I have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Like to Know It, other affiliations that I have, Amazon storefronts. Most of my income comes from Like to Know It, which is an affiliate based company. So it's an affiliate link. So every time I post a link within my description of my YouTube video or on Instagram, someone clicks that link, I'm making an income from it. So it's very passive income, which I love. It's great. I'm able to travel and be present with my family and still be making an income. So most of my income comes from the affiliate program. And again, 25% of it is about YouTube.
And then so the other portion of that's Instagram and TikTok are driving the bulk of that affiliate?
Correct. Yeah. So you can have, you do a reel on Instagram and you say, hey, you want to shop this product, comment shop. And then that affiliate link is sent directly to that person's, their, DMs. Or I have all of my LinkedIn tree where I have all of my affiliates, whether that's 2 Pages, which is a drapery company that I'm an affiliate with, or, Like to Know It, Amazon storefront. Those are all combined into one. So as far as most of my income is through affiliate marketing and paid collaborations. I just did one with Wayfair and Amazon, so that all helps as well.
How is landing like those kind of big partnerships?
Big partnerships. So it's funny you ask that. A lot of it is through Like to Know It. So Like to Know It umbrellas a bunch of these different companies, whether that's Walmart, and they have reps that will actually pitch me to companies. So I'm not the one actually pitching myself.
Oh.
So I was contacted by Wayfair, I was contacted by Amazon to do a partnership. So I'm not really out there having to get them. I do get plenty of emails from companies that want to partner with me. But again, going back to that whole integrity and being very specific about who I'm, branding and collabing with, because at the end of the day, it falls on me. I wouldn't want to sell someone something that I don't believe in. So being specific and selective.
Yeah, it's an integrity thing. It's like you
100%.
only want to direct your audience, because once you lose the trust, it's gone.
Absolutely, which is a huge thing when it comes to being within this content creation. It's all about integrity and being transparent and having your consumers trust.
So it's interesting that you said like you're starting to look at ways to differentiate how you monetize it. The biggest one right now is like affiliates, and then the other piece of it is just probably AdSense from all the platforms. And now you're trying to think through ideas of like, how do I maybe create some type of service?
Correct.
Like, what's your thought? Like, what are you trying to think through right now? Like, do you have any ideas or?
Again, I've gone back and forth with like helping people with styling. I've had like close friends reach out like, hey, do you do styling, in-person styling, helping people with that. And just kind of dabbling with that general area as far as like online services and helping people with design work and whatnot, but keeping it affordable too, because a lot of the designers out there cost a lot of money. And for the average person, they can't afford, a $15,000 designer. It's just not feasible for a lot of people. So keeping it affordable, but also being able to offer a service virtually and whatnot.
Yeah. The biggest reason I ask is like, there's people who like, they love creating content, they want to create content, but if they don't have any type of monetization on the backside, like there's probably a handful of other creators who just have struggled to like monetize and create like a income.
Yeah.
Like, what have you learned? What's kind of helped you?
Consistency is key. Showing up. I didn't have like a manual when it came to like creating my platforms. It was all, again, trial and error. When I was super into YouTube, I really went gung-ho. I was doing 2 loads a week. I was posting a schedule for people. I also did have an SEO person helping me on the backside of things that I paid for an entire year to see, okay, is this going to help my channel? It didn't. He was very affordable, but I was trying to figure out every aspect on building a platform. And again, it is all trial and error. So you can, again, just consistency, sticking with it, because, it doesn't happen overnight. For some, it does. For a lot of people, it doesn't. It takes a lot of hard work and just showing up every single day.
So how much content are you putting out? Like, if you were to think through like all the different pieces of content, the videos, the platforms, like if you just had a rough guess, what would that be?
So I post about 5 to 6 videos per week on Instagram, so short reels, which I will then put onto TikTok. So those are they are moving over. For YouTube, I'll put anywhere from 1 to 2 videos a week as well. So, yeah. And then I will be doing, I do the lookbooks. So I will put together like a lookbook of like finds that I've gotten maybe on Amazon or, different websites, and I'll kind of put them in a collage for people that they can shop. So putting those together as well. So it's a lot of content altogether. And then if I have any collabs going on, creating that type of content for them as well.
How do you like manage that, being a mother, being a wife? Like, do you have content days? Yeah.
So I do content 3 days a week, and then 2 days with my youngest, who's 3. So I will schedule it out just like any other day. Monday I'm doing YouTube videos. On Tuesday I'm doing whatever, Instagram and collabs or whatnot. So I definitely have to break it up and schedule out my hours, because it is very time consuming.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it goes fast.
What's your content process kind of look like now that you've been doing it for so long? Like, I'm sure you've probably refined it a little bit.
A little bit. Like I said, like Mondays will be like my YouTube day where I'll start to finish, I'll do the video. And in the evening, I'll be doing, after my kids go to sleep, I'll be doing all the editing, doing the thumbnails, doing the linking. Instagram, I'll try to do multiple videos in a day. So I'll try to do, 4 to 5 reels for that next week. So everything's ready to go for the following week. So I'm not feeling like I'm stressed out trying to create content just to put it out there, because you also want it to be, you don't want to just put content out just to put content. Like there should be a reason for it, So I try to like backlog all of my stuff and really take my time. But that's kind of what a day bulk filming.
That's crazy. Start to finish YouTube, everything one day from like.
I try. Yeah.
Coming up with the idea.
Yeah.
Doing like, do you do any sort of like script or anything or no?
No.
Just like bullet points or something or.
For what?
Like.
For YouTube?
Yeah.
No, well, sometimes I'll have like, whether that's giving tips on stuff, I'll have like an idea of like, hey, these are the topics that I want to discuss, but it's all just winging it. I don't read a script or anything like that, but yeah.
So how do you come up with the ideas for the different platforms then?
What's doing well? Sometimes I'll kind of research previous videos that I've loaded, what does well, what doesn't do well. For Instagram, I'll go through and see what did really well as far as views go, and I'll try to maybe recreate it. It's kind of the same thing with YouTube, seeing what did well, or how can I take something that I've already done, because I've already done 600 videos. There's going to be an overlapping at some point. This was my most recent one, was like spring decorating. Like, how can I show spring in a different way? So just like fine tuning it, tweaking it. How can I just offer something different that I haven't already done? So that's kind of where I get my ideas, or like looking at other pages. Not that I take content from other people, but how can I get inspired to create content in different ways?
Really quickly, before we continue this episode, are you looking to grow your YouTube channel this year? We help top agents and team leaders build and grow their YouTube channels and generate an average 300K in GCI. We've helped channels like Brad Davis in Northern California closed 2 deals in the first 3 months. We've helped other people like Austin Clark generate over 15 million in business his first year on YouTube. Kyle Taba in Kansas City double his YouTube channel in only 2 months. And then we've helped bigger channels like Chris Colgan generate 30 to 60 leads a month the first 2 months we worked with him. So if you want our help to do all of your YouTube for you, click the link below and schedule a strategy call, and we could talk about how we can help you grow your YouTube channel. Now let's get back to the episode. For example, if I take YouTube, you have probably a few recurring series that you can do, like the seasonal stuff you can always do, or like trends, or like different hauls. So do you kind of keep like a backlog, or is it just kind of like mentally at this point then?
Mentally, like you were just talking about, like there's one that I do have a series on my YouTube channel, or I will do like a home goods video every single month of like new products that are circulating, a home goods, and giving people that to look forward to every single month. So I do have some that are like my staples, which is great, especially if I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to film. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, home goods needs to go live this month. So when I'm kind of in a pinch and I don't know what to create, there are videos that are like stapled, live on my channel every single month. So, but yeah.
Your content days and then having those like staples kind of reminds me, there's something I learned from someone, he calls it structured fluidity.
Okay.
It's like when you have a little bit of structure, because if you have no structure and you're just trying to think through like, what am I going to do? What am I going to post? When am I going to create the content? When am I going to do this? Like your mind can go in a lot of different places. But when you refine it, it's like, okay, here's this content day. Here's some buckets or some things that we can create. It allows you to be a little more fluid in your approach. Like, I don't know if that like resonates with you or like, your thoughts. Sure.
I think that's a great way to look at it too.
So your YouTube channel, you started to notice it's a lot older. And then
as far as demographics,
and it seems like then your audience is, you want a little younger.
That's funny you bring that up. So we're talking about demographics.
Yeah.
Older people are watching, or older generations are watching the YouTube because they like the long format, which is great because older generations also have more funds.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that can actually afford nice pieces and whatnot. When you're looking at Instagram and TikTok, that's the younger generations where they're looking for the cheaper, more affordable type things. So it kind of, they both have their pros and cons, I guess. The older generation can afford more nice pieces, the younger. So it's like trying to appease both generations when it comes to linking things, making content, I'll get comments like, that's great. I love that item, but I can't afford it, So it's, yeah.
So with YouTube, if it attracts an older demographic and that tends to have more disposable income, like just out of curiosity, why wouldn't you go after like that? You're kind of saying that you like Instagram, you kind of want to build more on there.
That's a great question. And yes, YouTube does have a demographic that has more income and that they can afford, nicer items and whatnot, which is great. But I still want to have integrity at the end of the day. And this is a business for me, but I also really do genuinely care about my following and the people. And I don't want to just like sell to sell. Anytime I do link things in my description for YouTube videos or Instagram, I'm being 100% transparent. I want people to enjoy the items. Things are expensive nowadays. You know what I mean? And if someone is going to click a link that gives me money, like they deserve the utmost respect. They deserve transparency. And so I don't want to just be a cash grab, if that makes sense. And you can honestly see the difference between people on YouTube and on Instagram that have integrity when it comes to the content that they're putting out there, if they're just looking to make money or if they actually genuinely care about their audience. And this all comes back to integrity, honesty, transparency. And so I could if I wanted, but it's not my personality to just want to sell to especially to the older demographic.
Yeah, makes sense. And that's a good thing to have with your audience. It's just funny because it's Connor and I were talking about this earlier. It's like a lot of people, especially because of TikTok, actually got into content from short form. And so they started in short form, especially a lot of agents too. And now they're moving into long form, or like you just look at creators in general, a handful got into short form recently because of TikTok, but you are actually going from long form to short form. And like, what have you kind of learned from that like transition? Because now your Instagram's massive. It's like getting close to 300,000 followers.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I can produce 5 videos over one video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus YouTube. I mean, YouTube takes a lot longer. There's a lot more to it. And I feel like that's where the burnout's coming. It's just, there's so much more involved in YouTube to have less payoff versus Instagram and TikTok, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just, I can produce more, I can do more, and I can reach more people, especially on my platform being larger on Instagram than I am right now currently on YouTube.
How does your content like differ from like what you talk about and like kind of the content you create on Instagram versus like the short form? If you can explain that for people.
Meaning YouTube versus how
Instagram.
they differentiate?
Yeah, the type of topics that you create, the type of videos that you create, like
I mean, they're similar. I mean, they definitely do go hand in hand. It's just, one's more in depth than the other. Instead of a 30-second video of me showing a coffee table styling on Instagram, on YouTube, I'm telling you why I'm placing something where I'm placing it, why I chose those items, and kind of the reasoning and design behind it. So that's where they differentiate. So if you are one that wants a more long form and understand the process of why, YouTube's going to be the avenue you should take. But if you're just wanting something quick, show me how to do something, obviously Instagram's way quicker in explaining that.
So does that, I imagine, I'm just trying to think through like your creative, if you do YouTube on Monday and then short form on Tuesday, for example, you have that idea going into Tuesday and then you're just trying to think through how to create it for short form, or like, am I completely off base on that?
No, I mean, sometimes too, like if I'm already like, say I'm doing a styling idea on my YouTube channel, sometimes I'll even set up my tripod because I'm already in the motion for YouTube, that I'll set up my tripod for my Instagram and have it kind of almost do double dip, try to do 2 content in one session sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm not like resetting it up, you know what I mean, for the next day.
So do you kind of pre-plan the difference then of like, okay, here's how it looks on YouTube and here's how I'm going to, like, I don't know, not really?
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get a sense like...
Just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you learned works? Because you do a lot of what's trending now on Instagram is kind of, I call it a little like B-roll reels. It's like sometimes faceless, like you do a little POV, those type.
On Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram. Yeah. So like, what do those categories look like on Instagram? Like, what have you seen works? What are you kind of doubling down on there?
So more recently, what I've noticed is working on Instagram is people want to laugh. So I kind of dabbled with home humor, where I'm doing point of views, where I'm thinking of ideas of like what most husband and wives can relate to. Relatability is what is doing really well on my Instagram channel. Obviously, people come there for the styling and the inspiration, whatnot, but I have a series on my Instagram. People love series. They love something to look forward to or something that they know that they can count on every single week as a tip. So I have something called Funny Reel Fridays where I do a different skit either by myself or with my husband where we're doing home decor or home, like things that husband and wives bicker about, home related.
Yeah.
And people love to tune in every single Friday for it. And those seems to do really, really well. The reason also for that is something that people want to share. So most wives are going to be sharing that with their husband, which then bumps me up in the algorithm. Relatability, shareability. People on Instagram, what I see doesn't do well is like people don't care like that you got a new rug in your bathroom. Like they don't. You know what I mean? Like something that you can share with someone or you want to laugh is something that is doing really, really well personally on my Instagram.
So I want to dive into the shareability in a second. But I think the relatability has kind of gone across platforms. Like I've noticed on YouTube, example, bring it to like real estate, the longer form home tours that don't look overly done. It's kind of like just you kind of taking the viewer through the house 30 minutes.
Not staged? Or
it's staged, but it's more like, so there's two type of styles, like overly, it could be like overly produced, kind of look like a movie and it looks super professional.
Yes.
Versus like someone who's just walking you through the house like, hey, and it's more that relatability of like, hey, let me show you this house.
Which is doing better?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've seen it outside of real estate with a lot of creators on YouTube are also doing a lot less production and a little more back to the real raw video.
Yep.
And it seems like on short form, it's kind of like everyone's got overdone with that high production.
Editing and yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
So like, I mean, I guess what's your take on that? Like, why do you think? And then what have you, and you're just kind of like leaning into that with the humor side and everything.
I think, speaking for myself, people want to be able to connect and relatability is super big. I don't get super dressed up in my videos. What you see is what you get. Some videos where the girls are decorating in dresses and heels, that's not realistic, for the most of us. So I think, again, just being who you are and just being relatable, being just authentic with who you are on your platform is going to go a lot further for content.
Yeah, I agree. Cause and
that's probably why it's doing better, it's, even from a real estate standpoint, just the walking through versus it being super edited. It's just, it's not as realistic, I guess.
Yeah. Cause people want to connect with the creator and they want to you're following that person cause you trust that person. And that kind of brings me to the thought. There's a few people who have talked about kind of like the death of a follower with now all the algorithms have kind of moved more towards the TikTok algorithm where it's your subscriber count doesn't necessarily matter. It's creating it for almost your non-followers in a way.
What do you mean? That's confusing.
So basically TikTok has kind of changed the importance of followers.
Okay.
Where the amount of followers doesn't necessarily matter if the content's going to perform.
Okay, gotcha.
And you can create content regardless of the follower base because all the algorithms start to follow TikTok's algorithm where we used to follow people and see their content. Now it's we're getting fed the content regardless if we follow them.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get hung up on I want to have a certain number. And like, I'm sure,
Well,
just like you said,
the algorithm changes daily. You know what I mean? I'll have a video that does super, super well, and I'll have one that completely flops. It's not being pushed out to half of my followers, so the follower count really doesn't matter, to be honest. You know?
Do you create kind of in mind of like, I'm creating this kind of for people who follow me or people who don't follow me?
I guess my initial reaction to that is people who follow me. I'm not even thinking about people who aren't following me, really. And it's interesting, when people want like their videos to go viral, half of the time like a video goes viral, a lot of the people that do follow you from those viral videos end up dropping off. That's not really the followers you want to get, if that makes sense. So,
a lot of people want viral videos too.
Yeah, but the viral it doesn't have I don't know the words I'm looking for, but
like a stickiness.
Yeah, like I'm saying, they drop off. It's like, oh, cool, you have one viral video. Some of them stay, but most of them end up dropping off. It's just not the following that you really want to get. You want to be able to build relationships with people, or someone referring you. You know what I mean? Like someone sharing your page, kind of like a referral type situation, where it's like, hey, I follow this girl or I follow this page. You would really benefit from it. That's the type of follower you want.
Yeah, I don't know if you notice, like with your videos, especially within like real estate or like podcasting, what I'm trying to do, it's like everybody wants videos that perform super well, but sometimes it's the videos that don't perform really well that end up performing better for like the business side of things or like the relationship. Yeah,
I agree. And even with some of the videos that don't do really well, I mean, you also have to look at analytics too. You know what I mean? Like some videos that don't have as high a view, but they have 10,000 shares. It's something that's being shared and people are commenting on it. So it might not have a ton of views, but the engagement is also really important when it comes to social media platforms. You want people to feel the need to comment or feel the need to share. And that's what's going to bump you up in the algorithm.
Really quickly, before we get back into the episode, do you want to grow a hyper-local media company like Kyle Talbot? He added 20 million in sales to his real estate business using Instagram and YouTube. And I created a completely free playbook in the description below. It goes over all of his templates, everything that he used to grow over 70,000 followers in Instagram, 10,000 on YouTube. So if you want to download it and implement it in your business today, click the link below and download it. It's completely free. Let's get back to the episode. And that kind of ties us back to the shareability. Are you creating a mind it sounds like you're kind of creating a mind for that shareability now.
Yes. Especially with the humor aspect, like how can I have a funny idea that's going to be something that a wife is going to want to share to her husband or her friends, because we can all relate to some of the videos that I'm putting out there when it comes to the home humor. And some of it's super, super stupid and I make an idiot out of myself in most of them, but like I don't care. And I think that's why people enjoy it and have fun with it,
Can you give an example of like one?
Like a stupid video that I do? I'm trying to think what was like one with my husband or no?
Doesn't matter, whichever.
Okay, so like one video, again, I'm trying to like umbrella this under home.
Yeah.
So one of it was like point of view, like when you don't ask your husband for help. And it's like me struggling, moving a carpet up a flight of stairs, or trying to move furniture by myself, or trying to, I'm like clearly sweating and like out of breath, trying to do things on my own when clearly I need my husband's help, but I'm like too stubborn to ask for it. So if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So again, wives will send that to their husband. Like, see, I told you I'm not, it's not just me. It's so kind of going back to, again, the whole relatability. It's funny.
Yeah.
Try to make people laugh because we need more of it.
But so someone on one side of it might be like, well, what does that have to do with like bringing in business from the...
Not everything's about business. Yeah. I love creating like relationships with people too. That's also really important. The whole integrity thing. And I mean, I've made some really amazing friendships with people too through social media. So it's not always about the money. It's about creating relationships. And I've had people with me going back to YouTube. I've had people with me since, I first started my channel, and that's huge to be able to have someone that wants to stay with me that long, because people drop off all the time. So it's that relationship building. So just because I put a funny video out on Friday doesn't necessarily I'm trying to make money off of it.
And it's kind of funny because I met Connor through social media. Never met him in person. And then I told him, I was like, hey, I was looking for like people who create content in San Diego. Here's some of the like biggest ones. And he's like, oh, I know Hannah.
How funny.
Yeah.
Well, and here we are.
Yeah.
A podcast together.
And it's funny like how small the world is, and then like just the relationships that you can actually create through social media is pretty crazy to think about it.
I mean, there's pros and cons when it comes to social media and creating it. I mean, you have people that are super supportive, people that will comment and like every single thing of yours. And then you do get the hate too. You know, you get the negative side of social media, which also sucks. But
there's a lot of hate.
There's a lot of hate. And it's interesting the type of hate and the different platforms.
Oh, yeah. Some platforms are brutal.
Totally. I get for the most part, YouTube's pretty nice. TikTok's brutal. And I've gotten some pretty brutal messages through Instagram, but I've gotten some pretty thick skin over time, but that's part of creating. You're putting yourself out there, and it might resonate with people and might not. So
like people call you like fat. They call you.
Oh yeah. They'll go after looks.
They go after looks, and like they try to dig deep.
Totally. Like, because I know it's off topic, but yeah, it's part of creating.
How do you deal with that? Like mentally, like you
block and move on. When I first was on YouTube and I got some hate for what I looked like or what I was wearing, it really messed me up. Because I just didn't understand why. You know, here I am trying to make videos on my home, and like people are totally talking about something 100% irrelevant. But over time, you just kind of go like, clearly that person's not in a good headspace. They're miserable in their own life. Block, move on. It's not worth the headache. So.
Do you follow Gary Vee or no?
Mm-mm.
So Gary Vaynerchuk, he's just big in like marketing, business, content.
Okay.
And he kind of frames it as like, obviously that person has to be in such a bad place to be commenting about, take time out of their day to comment about you. I know.
That's what's so funny. I'm like, it took more time for you to leave a shitty, sorry.
No, you're okay. You can say whatever.
A shitty comment than just to keep scrolling. And I'm old school, but I grew up in a household that's like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So that's what I live by. I'm like, there's plenty of stuff I see on social media. I'm like, okay, this is wow. But like, I just keep going because what's the point, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. It's like that person, that's how I think about it. Cause I see a lot now, and then they'll go after like people's hair, like, oh, this person's old creating content, or this person's overweight, or this person this or that.
Does the real estate industry get hate?
And the YouTube's terrible. Like
really?
YouTube's worse. Yeah.
Interesting. Like what would a comment be for something like that?
So like someone that worked with who's a little older, 55 plus, like they would go after their hair, not having hair, or like being older.
Oh, so they're going after the person's looks, not necessarily the content itself?
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy. People have no time or energy or life.
Yeah. And I'm just like, again, it's like you have to be in such a negative space to like want to leave that type of comment. And it's hard when you're early on as a creator to like not take it personal. Like, and then they'll try to go after then your content's like, oh, you suck on camera or this or that. Like, have you ever had anyone go after your content?
Oh, for sure. So that's a whole nother can of worms that if you want to open, but like within the home industry, more so on Instagram, it's very cliquey. So you have other home accounts, and you know, we do our best to support one another, but you know, you get one person that doesn't like what I do, and they're getting on Threads, which is like, I don't know if you're familiar with Threads, it's like Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
And they're, you know, basically calling me out or saying mean things about me on Threads, or, you know, ganging up on one another. It can gets very messy. Yeah. It's a whole nother, it's very high school.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you experience that in the real estate world as well.
Yeah.
It's like people just don't want to see you do well if you're doing well. They got to somehow tear you down if they can.
And are those like other creators?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I imagine it comes out of like some deep-seated fear, or like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's jealousy, fear, or what it is, but I definitely have had a fair share of people not liking. And when it comes to my content, I try to be, like I've told you, 100% transparent. I put it all out there. I'm no bullshit, especially when it comes to like affiliate links. Like I state like, hey, this is an affiliate link. What you're clicking on, I'm going to get money from. Like I put that out there because I don't want there to be questions and the integrity. And some creators just don't, they have a problem with it. And then they go to, like I said, they go to threads or they're posting mean shit about me. It's very high school, but it is part of this industry.
I think it's every industry because real estate's clicky. There's different brokerages that people have underneath, and then
someone's doing well and getting hate for it, or
it's interesting. But so you brought up threads, and then you do TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, are you seeing or moving into like any specific platform, or is it just kind of like doubling down into like what you're already doing?
I'm doubling down on Instagram because that's one where is my largest following, where I have my largest reach. Like I said, I use content from Instagram to TikTok. One thing I wish TikTok would do is if someone on Instagram, if they see something in my home, I can say, hey, comment shop. And all of the things that you see in today's video are sent to your DMs. It's in the ball's in your court if you want to shop or not. On TikTok, they don't have that feature yet. All they have linked right now is like products from the TikTok shop. So you're promoting products from the TikTok shop. So it's not as advanced yet as Instagram is. Like they don't have shop triggers that you people could do yet. So, and with TikTok, to monetize, your videos have to be, I think, over a minute long. So the monetization, there's good money to be made there. But if you're not reaching that 1 minute, or if you have to be promoting products from TikTok, not other places. So that's very limiting. So that's why I'm kind of putting more of my focus on Instagram currently.
And yeah, were you ever like, probably it's a loaded question because I feel like I already know the answer, but like, were you ever worried that when TikTok was going to go away?
No. I was like, all right. Which was super interesting. I don't know if are you on TikTok?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, well then, the
more
ban was
consumption than
same. Creation. I'm more consumption than I am like actually putting stuff out there as much. But when the ban was happening, all of the people that were like airing out their dirty laundry, like did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw it.
They're all coming clean about things that they said they did or didn't do, or influencers were saying they had all this plastic surgery, and then oops, wait, TikTok's not banned, and they looked really bad. So, yeah, whole nother tangent, but.
And I imagine you're like, you didn't really worry because you have YouTube, Instagram already really going.
Well, TikTok's not really a huge breadwinner for me, so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to miss the entertainment aspect of it, but yeah, wasn't too worried about it.
And like, how do you think of managing multiple platforms, kind of doing it all like yourself? Like, does it become overwhelming?
Yeah. It's a lot, and I try to be super aware of it. I'm on my phone a lot, and especially with kids, like I have to really check myself, because that's my way of life. That's how I make money. I try to engage with people, so I'm the one responding to direct messages and comments and trying to show people. I'm trying to show up for people, so I really do have to be careful how much I'm doing in front of my kids and trying to balance that. It definitely becomes overwhelming at times, for sure.
There's a whole, like, I don't have kids yet, but like there's the debate of like, when should kids have a phone? When should they be on social media?
Oh gosh, yeah.
And especially someone who's creating like their business behind social media. Like, how do you think through that?
Until they can afford to pay for one, that's when they can get a phone.
Okay.
I grew up old school again. I didn't get a phone until I could pay for the cell phone bill every single month. I think social media is great, but I also think it's very damaging. Our kids don't have iPads. They're not on social media. My kids are young. I have a 3 and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
So they will have phones when the age is appropriate, but I'm trying to shield them from that as long as possible.
Interesting.
Because I feel like a lot of kids get in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Kids they're growing up too quick, and, you know, just be a kid. Go outside and play, you know? Go use your imagination.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, usually you had to go outside to have fun back then.
Now it's phones and this all the time. So, yeah.
So is that like kind of teenage years you're thinking, or like,
Maybe middle school. I mean, obviously emergencies being able to
yeah,
have one, but like I said, my husband and I try really hard to not have social media going all the time. They have like iPads if we're traveling or if we're doing long card rides, so they have that. But yeah, cell phones will be away for a while.
nice.
Hmm.
So, sorry, kind of tangent.
No, no, it's fine.
It was kind of the work-life balance side of
Yeah, where
things.
it's a lot. It's hard. I mean, I know Connor can speak for that too. Being able to shut it off, especially when you're working from home and you're it's a one man show, and being able to show up for people, it's important to me. That's how I've built my platforms and whatnot. So yeah.
So, I guess thinking of kind of like the future and things like, are you, because there's multiple paths you can go.
Yes.
Like, do you want to have a team? Do you not want to have a team? Do you want to build it a certain way, or?
I think for right now, I just want to be myself because it's really also hard to bring on someone that will do it how I want it done. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys can all speak for that. When it comes to editing your videos, like even with YouTube,
Yeah.
I attempted to have someone edit for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not my style at all. Like he done no research on how I edited my videos. So I attempted, but I think at the end of the day, it's like if you want it done, you got to do it yourself. So right now I'm a one man show, and I'll keep it there until I feel like I maybe need help, but I'm not there quite yet.
And it's crazy just to think about like what you built with like a just one
Hmm.
400,000 followers, multiple platforms. You've been consistent on both.
Yeah,
Like,
do my best. But yeah, consistency. Just keep showing up.
so was that something that you were always consistent with the content, or what did you have to kind of learn that consistency?
Learned it for sure because I was also working, part-time job before really diving deep into YouTube and Instagram and the whole social media. I was working for Restoration Hardware, like I mentioned. I was a lead merchandiser for Lululemon for about 5 years, and then COVID happened.
Hmm.
My job stopped there, and so that's when I started really getting into YouTube and the whole social media creation. And I learned that being consistent is important. People liked the schedule. Again, it was all like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, a whole trial and error, like what's doing well, getting people's feedback. Like, hey, we love when you post a schedule because we know what to anticipate for the week, seeing what does well. And so, again, I think consistency is the a huge role in creation is just showing up and allowing people to know what they can expect from you.
So do you get any like when you people reach out to you? I'm sure there's a lot of people who reach out to you about like creating content or like Instagram or YouTube or TikTok nowadays.
Yeah.
Are those generally like business owners who are like, hey, I want to create content? Or are they people who are like, they just want to create content? They don't necessarily have a business in the first place, or people who have a passion? Like,
What type of person is reaching out?
yeah.
So a lot of it is like people from like Instagram, they're asking me questions like, hey, do you like, what would you do in this space? And I do my best to help, but like at the end of the day, it's still a lot of time and energy I can't sit there and give free advice
Yeah.
on how to like restyle your home. So it's like a fine line there of like wanting to help people, but also being like, and this is where my next venture is kind of stemming from. I'm like, how can I revert people to, hey, that I would love to be able to help you, but it's going to, I have to charge at some point. So
But you
there's,
should.
yeah, again, it all comes down to time and energy. Sorry, what was the question with businesses?
Yeah, so
Type
like
of businesses?
the people who come to you about like creating content or like growing a social media following, like can you maybe describe if they fit in like one of the camps? Like are they like a business owner? Or are they like someone who just has a passion and wants to create
So
content or
people
grow?
coming to me to help them grow their social media?
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some, maybe not like asking you to like help them, but maybe they just have questions about content in general.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get a ton of that.
Okay.
I feel like people are just looking for like a quick fix. like I was mentioning to you, the whole consistency, showing up, like those are all the same tips and tricks that I would give to anybody that asks for advice. But you see all these, at least in my niche, people that are like have courses on how to build a social media and how, hey, this person gained, 1,000 followers in a month. Like there really is not a cookie cutter, like a form on creating a social media. Like it really comes down to, I don't think there's a course is what I'm trying to tell you
Yeah.
on building a social media platform. Nobody's, I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's not, you got to just take the time, put the time and energy into building it. No course is going to get that for you.
The reason I ask is like if you're gonna either talk to, maybe it's a different thing for each one, but like a business owner who's like, hey, I'm in real estate mortgage, I'm in design, and I want to get into content. Like, why should I even get into content? And then probably there's another one, but maybe that one first, the business owner side.
I mean, Instagram. Are you saying like what type of social media should they get into?
It why and what? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Instagram is like advertisement nowadays. I go to Instagram to try to, I mean, in the search bar, I'll be like tattoo artist or whatever, like best restaurants in San Diego. Like that's where I go to nowadays. Cause then you can get videos, you can get reels, you can get people's, experiences there. I feel like if someone's trying to get themselves out there, I feel like Instagram is it. Again, I go for TikTok for the more like, just doom scrolling,
Doom
just,
scrolling it.
I'm not really going to TikTok to know like what are the best restaurants in San Diego. Like I'll search it in Instagram. So someone's trying to start and like dabbling with social media, I feel like that's a great place to start.
Nice. And kind of talking back to like your younger self when you're at Restoration Hardware,
Hmm.
you had a job, you had consistent income. Like, what was the benefit of getting into content?
Being able to work from home, being my own boss, like I mentioned, going on vacation and still making money. Passive income is where it's at. It's been amazing. I mean, there still is work that's involved, obviously, but I can shut it off for a weekend if I want and still be making money. And so that's one thing that I really, really love, and that I can work from home and I've been able to be home with my kids, a couple days a week and still be able to manage the social media content creation life. So it's a huge plus.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if you were to talk to your younger self, someone who is just getting into content, whether they fit in any sort of camp, what would be the three biggest tips you would give them and say, here's how you can succeed?
Transparency, consistency, um, just being authentic, just being yourself, just showing up. People want to, like we've talked about, people just want to, whether that's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform you're using, people just want to be able to connect. There's a word that Connor used where people feel like they know you when they don't. I mean, there's been times where I've been on vacation and people say hi. Like it's just they feel like they know me as a person. And so I've over time, yes, I'm making money and I've made this into a business for myself, but I've also created so many relationships all over the world and connections. And so, yeah, those would be my three: being authentic, transparent, and consistency if you're going to get into content creating.
Nice.
Hmm.
I think the word is like parasympathetic relationship or something.
Maybe where it's like
Something
people
like
don't know who you are, but they feel like they know you just from watching your social media.
yeah.
That would,
I think
yeah.
yeah, it's like something like pair or something.
Okay.
I think it's something like that. But yeah, and then when you think about like kind of the everything that you're doing, like you could not work if you want to. Like why like what are you building this all for? Like why are you building what you're building? Like is it for anything or
I mean, it brings me joy. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I think that's really important in life nowadays, be able to be creative. I'm a creative person, so I love having this outlet of creativity. Obviously it's my way of life, so it's allowed me to go on vacations and spend time with my family and do fun and nice things. Yeah.
do you think of it as any sort of way of like kind of showing your kids as well?
I mean, yeah, hard work. And I always have to, I'll have the comments, I mean, talking about like the management of time and
Hmm.
my daughter will mention like, "Hey, mom, you're always on your phone." And I have to remind her like, "Mommy's working. This is how mom makes a living. This is how we're able to do fun things." So trying to show her that hard work is earned. It's not given, and so that's the reason why mommy's always on her phone. So hopefully, and I mean, I teach my kids and instill hard work in other ways as well, but just also reminding them that this is the reason why and hard work is important.
Nice. So if people want to kind of check out like what you're doing and want to follow you, where should they go?
Instagram, Hannah_Naylor_, Hannah Naylor on YouTube. I mean, it's just my name across all platforms.